Okay, everyone, good morning. 10 o'clock, time for yoga. So glad you made it. Some good teachings for today. We're going to start by chanting Om and Shanti. Using mantra as a tool to clear our minds, to help create a place so that something can come in. If you want to just listen, that's fine. And then we'll follow Om and Shanti with some other mantras. Closing your eyes here. Just take a step within. This morning we're going to look at two mantras. The first one is on page 4 of the Jivamukti chant book if you have it. It's one you're familiar with. It's number 5. It's known as the Guru chant. It's Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Our creation is that Guru, meaning the beginning of our lives, our parents, the place we were born, the time we were born into. The duration of our lives is that Guru. So that means all of the good things, the bad things, the ups, the downs, the successes and tragedies. So that's Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara is another name for Shiva. So that means the end of our life is also a teacher. Guru Sakshat, the teacher that is close by. Param Brahma, teacher that is far away, and the teacher that is indescribable. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, we give all of our efforts to that teacher. Sometimes I like to just define it as the teacher is all around us, so pay attention. And we'll do call and response. Guru Brahma, together. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Next we're going to look at number 4 on page 4, one we're all very familiar with. If we've ever practiced at Nandi in the blue room, it's written on the walls of that room. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions in my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. We'll do call and response. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. And may the thoughts, words, and actions in my own life contribute in some way. And may the thoughts, words, and actions in my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. And to that happiness and to that freedom for all. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now my teacher, Sanskrit teacher Manorma, says that the more you repeat a mantra, you become that mantra. And so repetition in the mind, maybe verbally, doesn't have to be verbally, it could be just quietly in the mind, repeating over the same idea, prayer, you become that you are repeating. Today I'm going to read you a little story. It's from the Jivamukti Yoga book, Practices for Liberating Body and Soul, and it comes in the chapter on karma, what you think, say, and do, and it's on page 45, and it's a story about a farmer and his family. There once lived a farmer. He lived on a farm with his wife, his son, a horse that the family had raised from a colt. The family planned to enter the horse in an annual county fair and hoped it would win prizes that would lead to breeding opportunities. This would ensure a nice future income for the farmer and his family. One night before the fair, a violent storm swept over the countryside. When the farmer and his family awoke early the next morning, they found that the fences had been blown down. Their prized stallion was nowhere to be found. The farmer's wife was beside herself with despair. The neighbors came and joined in the wife's grief. "What terrible misfortune has befallen us?" cried the wife. Yes, this is most unfortunate," the neighbors agreed. But the farmer said, "Fortunate or unfortunate, I don't know. Let's wait and see." A week passed and the farmer and his family were sitting at the breakfast table. Looking out the kitchen window, they saw a herd of horses galloping towards the farm. It was their faithful stallion leading 5 horses and a little filly behind them. He had found a herd of wild mares and now he was bringing them home. The farmer's family ran out to the open corral gate for the horses. Opened the corral gate for the horses. The farmer's wife was overjoyed and exclaimed, "What a fortunate turn of events. This is unbelievable." Their neighbors rushed over, exclaiming, "How fortunate you are." The farmer just said, "Fortunate or unfortunate, I don't know. Let's wait and see." Over the next weeks, the farmer and his sons were busy training the new horses. One day, the son was thrown by one of the wild horses and suffered a bad fall and broke many bones. The farmer's wife was very upset. Between her sobs, she said, "We never should have let those wild horses in. This is a most unfortunate accident. My poor son." The neighbors came to commiserate with the wife about her misfortune, and the farmer said, "Fortunate or unfortunate? I don't know. Let's wait and see." 2 days later, the king's soldiers came by the little farm. The king had declared war on the adjacent country, and the soldiers had orders to draft all able-bodied young men into the army. On seeing the farmer's son with both legs and both arms broken, not to mention several ribs fractured and numerous lacerations on his face and head, they left him home and continued to the next family. The farmer's wife wept with relief, crying, "How lucky we are! This is most fortunate." The neighbors wept with relief, crying, "How lucky we are!" The neighbors, most of whom had sons taken off to war, said, "You indeed most fortunate." The farmer said, "Fortunate or unfortunate? I don't know. Let's wait and see." Some months passed. The farmer's son was recovering nicely. He was able to walk, albeit with a cane. A messenger from the king's palace dropped by the farm to inquire about the health of the son. Seeing the son's improved condition, he stated that by order of the king, the son must come at once to the palace to work in the gardens and stables. There was a shortage of workers at the palace due to the war. What could the family do but let their son go? The wife was bitterly angry, cursed the king for his unfairness. "How unfortunate we surely are. We have lost our only son, and there will be no one to help us with the farm now." The neighbors came by to console the wife, murmuring, "What an unfortunate turn of events." The farmer just said, "Fortunate or unfortunate? I don't know. Let's wait and see." The king had a beautiful daughter. One day she looked out the window, and she saw the handsome new gardener. She fell in love with him and went to her father and said, "Father, I have found the man I wish to marry. Please make it happen." The king, unable to resist the request from his lovely daughter, replied, "Of course it shall be done." The next day, the messenger was sent from the palace to the farm, bearing a wedding invitation for the farmer and his wife, as well as an invitation for them to come live permanently at the palace. Can you imagine the reaction of the farmer's wife? She was ecstatic, could hardly contain her joy. Jumping up and down, she laughed. "This is incredible. How fortunate." The neighbors exclaimed, "Indeed, this is a very fortunate turn of events." And the farmer, as usual, said, the farmer was a yogi in his understanding of karma. He understood that it's best to stay detached and thankful for whatever happens. Life is all ups and downs. Change is the only thing we can be sure of. So why not accept it? So a bit of a long story, but I think it's a great one. And it really explains this idea that we can always move towards equanimity of mind in every situation. So when we find ourselves in a place, maybe like we find ourselves in now, we can remember the wisdom of the farmer. And remember that in the longer kind of time frame of our life and situations that are going on, that fortunate or unfortunate, let's wait and see. You know, there's going to be a rear view mirror to this pandemic. At some point, we're going to look back at it. And we're going to take out what we learned. That there was no other way we could have been students if it wasn't for that pandemic. Just everything that's going on with this whole, you know, I mean, you saw it on the news last night. It's just people are really upset. And on top of it, you have all these kind of like instigators on top of it. So you have the true kind of, you know, social activists out there peacefully protesting. And then you have this whole other group on top of it creating just total anarchy out there. So I have to think of that farmer and just say, fortunate or unfortunate, there's something that's being learned through this, as the Guru chant reminds us. There's something that we could be a student to in this situation. The nice thing to fall back onto, also as we watch what's going on currently at this moment, is that ahimsa is our code, non-violence. No matter what, we have to remember that we can get the most done, we can have the most steadiness and peace in our own lives when we adhere to this first yama. From Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, the first limb of Ashtanga Yoga is the yamas, and the first yama is non-violence. And as we read the philosophy of yoga, we realize that yama is something that we just practice all the time. We return to all the time. We don't do it perfectly. That's important to remember. So when we find ourselves acting in violence in our words, our thoughts, and our actions, take a step back. recommit to the yoga practice, recommit to non-violent means. I mean, Sharon's focus this month's all about how do we communicate something if we don't consider the other person able to hear it? How do we take action if we don't feel like it's going to benefit all beings? So, kind of woke up this morning feeling a little bit mentally hungover, emotionally hungover. But again, it's just time to get on the mat, recommit, reapply the principles of yoga, and remember the farmer. What's going on right now? The neighbors might rush over at any moment and say, "Oh, Jeremy, this turn of events, it's so unfortunate," and kind of commiserate with the troubles in the world. Or we could just take a step back and remember the farmer saying, "I don't know, let's wait and see." Fortunate or unfortunate. So that's our talk for today. It's the last teaching this month on our spiritual activism. Thank you, Sharon, so much for giving us this focus to consider. And it sure does come in handy right at this moment with what's going on to remember your wise words. I'm excited to see what next month focus is, but we'll get to that when we get to that. And today we're just going to start in a completely different way than we ever start in my class. So we're going to do some cat and cow. I saw Roberta's beautiful kitty cat on her yoga mat yesterday. She posted on Instagram. And I was just like, wow, cats are so cool. Especially when they're sitting on a yoga mat. So come to a neutral position. You're going to inhale. You're going to lift the head. And I heard on social media that in Thailand they call this the angry cat pose. And then the exhale, you're going to round the back. And this is the happy cat pose. So I like the idea of that, Inhale, lift the head up. Angry cat. Exhale, rounding the back, tuck the chin in. Happy cat pose. Just do this a few more times on your own. Inhale, lift up the gaze. Exhale, round the back. Bring the gaze down. Inhale, lift the gaze up. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, come to a neutral position. You're going to tuck your toes under. You're going to come to downward facing dog. I'm just going to take a moment here. Forgot to remind you to start your Spotify playlist now. Get some music involved in the practice if you'd like. And just take a moment, your downward facing dog. Apply connection, right? Spread the fingers wide. Press palms down. As you lower the heels towards the back of the mat, try to lift the seat a little bit higher. And then look for your gaze place. Because it's the beginning of class, we're warming up, you want to shake your head out, flubber the lips. Because of the yoga practices, we're stronger because of them, right? Mentally, physically, spiritually. We have more of an established base to draw from. Let's walk the feet towards the front of the mat. Standing forward bend of your choice. Take hold of either elbows. Take hold of big toes. Place hands on the floor. Whatever you'd like to do here. Because we established this stronger connection to who we really are, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. When we then feel deep emotion on what's going on in the world, there's room for it, right? There's room for some sadness. There's room for some compassion, right? We can then open our hearts a little bit more from this place of strength, and we can take it in. It doesn't have to totally shake our foundation. We just keep on keeping that steady connection to the truth. And then we come to that place of equanimity of mind like the farmer. And we know that we are students and that we will learn something from whatever is placed in front of us, good or bad. And then on your exhale, you're going to release whatever you're holding on to. Take a soft bend of your knees. Gently roll up to a standing position. So interesting, on social media, I try not to be political ever, not to really draw any controversy into the post, but I was so moved yesterday when I started seeing people post the pictures of all of the African Americans that have been killed over the last 30 years. It gave names to who they were, what the situation was. And so first I posted something I found someone else posted about white privilege, how I could do all these things that they were doing and not even think for a second that I would be harmed or killed. You know? But to show that I was acknowledging that I do have this freedom that people of color do not have. But all in solidarity to say that I am here as an ally. And then the next post, it was the same idea. It posted each person who had died by the hands of law enforcement who was African American. And it said how they had died and how many shots they had taken. And then I posted all their pictures. And again, I found that someone else had posted it, and I just reposted it because I felt it was important just to sit with it for a moment, to acknowledge all of the beautiful faces that I saw in those people that had passed on. And know that people were in their lives that were affected profoundly by their deaths. So, in the spirit of yoga, maybe that was my spiritual activism. So here at the beginning of class, make an offering of your practice. You know, think of someone who could benefit, be uplifted by your action. So I'm going to offer my practice, my teaching today up to all the people affected by that police violence. Anyone who ever finds themselves in a compromised situation where they can't breathe. And hope that I could be there or someone else could be there to help them breathe again. Fortunate or unfortunate, let's wait and see. Beginning your Ujjayi breathing, audible breath sounds like the ocean in the back of the throat. On the exhale, you're going to release your arms down. Inhale, lift the prayer overhead. Exhale, folding forward, place your hands flat on the floor. Bend your knees if you need to. This is a warm-up. Inhale, come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, step or jump back, slowly lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Hold and breathe here. Exhale, 5, bend your knees, look forward. Step or jump between your hands, come to a flat back and look up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, come all the way up, lift the prayer overhead. Exhale, release your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Gaze at your fingertips or close your eyes. Now I want to remind everybody that these practices are as powerful as you want them to be. You want to just gain more flexibility and strength in your biceps? That is available to you. You want it to help lead you towards equanimity of mind? That is possible. So make this practice powerful. On the exhale, release your arms down. Inhale, lift the prayer overhead. Exhale, folding forward, place your hands down. Inhale, come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, step or jump back, slowly lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog, hold and breathe here. Now we know from the teachings of yoga that the physical body affects the mental body and the emotional body. So for instance, this morning where emotionally and mentally I did not feel well, I just brought myself to the practice. I put myself on the yoga mat. I began to breathe and turn over everything to the practice of yoga. And I'm pretty sure by the end of practice this morning, I'm going to be feeling pretty steady, pretty stable, and have a connection to that yoga that I already am. That connection that I already am. Inhale. Exhale, 5. Bend your knees, look forward. Step or jump between your hands. Come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Lift the prayer overhead. Exhale, release your hands to prayer in front of your heart, gazing at the fingertips. And just consider that idea of fortunate or unfortunate. Let's wait and see. Let's be like the farmer and just be in the moment. Not judging the outcome of anything. Just more being a witness to it, watching it, observing it, knowing that there's always going to be an up and down in life, fluctuation of good and bad, and that we can find ourselves right there in the moment, in the middle, present. On your exhale, release your arms down. Inhale, bend your knees deeply, lift the prayer up, Utkatasana. Exhale, diving forward, place your hands down. Inhale, come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, step or jump back, slowly lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lightly step your right foot forward, turn your left heel down. Lift the prayer overhead, warrior 1. Exhale, place your hands down, step back. Slowly lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward, right heel down. Lift the prayer overhead, warrior 1. Exhale, place your hands down, step back. Slowly lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Hold and breathe here. Inhale, come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, folding forward. Step walker, jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, look up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, bend your knees deeply, lift the prayer up. Exhale, release your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Pause in action. Close your eyes. Breathe in. And breathe out. Right, that's our secret tool in our spiritual toolkit, right? We have the power of this moment right now. This is where we can practice our stability in the moment just by breathing in and breathing out. Being a witness to the thinking mind, breathing in. On the exhale, release the arms down. Again, inhale, bend your knees deeply, lift the prayer up, awkward pose. Exhale, diving forward, place your hands down. Inhale, come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, step or jump back, slowly lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot forward, left heel down. Lift the prayer overhead, first warrior pose. On the exhale, open the arms wide, second warrior pose. Inhale, place your hands down, step back, slowly lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward, right heel down, lift the prayer overhead, warrior one. On the exhale, open the arms wide, warrior two. Inhale, place your hands down, step back, slowly lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Again, inhale, step your right foot forward, turn your left heel down. Lift the prayer overhead, warrior one. On the exhale this time, open the arms wide, warrior two. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Exhale, rebend the right knee. Come a little bit deeper into the standing pose of the second warrior. Try to bring your front thigh a little bit closer to parallel. Keep the knee tracking over the ankle. And then reach out in both directions equally, energetically. Relax the shoulders. And then settle your gaze over the middle finger. Or close your eyes. Breathing here. Exhale, 5. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Exhale, rebend the right knee. You're going to bring your right elbow to your right knee to begin. Extend the left arm up and over the ear. Think of the warrior two legs here as you inhale, reach long through the left side. Exhale, begin to open the twist. If you'd like to take an arm variation here, come into a bind, come into that on your own. And then hold and breathe. Inhale. From here, you're going to inhale, place your hands down. You're going to begin to straighten the front leg. You're going to adjust the back foot in. If you need blocks here or props, grab your props. Inhale, look up. Exhale, folding forward. Try to find a place, however tight or flexible you are, where you can move towards equanimity of mind. That will come with a steady gaze, equal breath, not by being distracted, looking around, or constantly moving in the position. So take your time, make your adjustments, grab your props, and then commit to being steady. Breathing here. Then you're going to inhale, you're going to bend the front knee. And we're going to get ready for standing split. You're going to inhale, lift the left leg up. You can keep your hands on blocks. You can bring your fingertips in line with your toes. Or take one or both hands to the back of the right leg. Hold and breathe here. If you find this pose easy, offer the easiness up. If you find it difficult, offer the difficulty up. Again, what is the intention behind your action? From here, you're going to bend your knee, step the left foot back. Exhale the right foot back, downward facing dog. Option to stay here, or inhale, roll forward to plank position. Go through the vinyasa on your own. Link breath and movement. Oh, it feels good. All right, try the other side. Inhale, left foot forward, right heel down. Lift the prayer overhead, warrior one. On the exhale, open the arms wide. Warrior two. We're going to hold here. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Exhale, rebend the left knee. Again, try to find warrior two legs here by keeping the knee over the ankle, front thigh a little bit closer to parallel. Reach out in both directions equally energetically. Relax the shoulders. Complete the pose with your gaze, breathing here. Think of the symbol of the warrior, the one that goes through difficult circumstances, situations with equanimity of mind. Inhale a breath. Exhale out for 5. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Exhale, rebend the left knee. Let's start with left elbow on left knee. Extend the top arm up and over the ear, reaching on the diagonal. Extended side angle. If you want to take an arm variation or bind the pose, come into that on your own. From here, you're going to inhale, place your hands down, preparing to fold over the left leg. Adjust the back foot in, straighten the front leg. Again, take as much time as you need. Don't be in a rush. Slow the thinking mind down. Grab your props, make your adjustments, straighten the front leg, inhale, look up. Exhale, folding forward. Hold and breathe here. On your next inhale, you're going to bend the front knee. And on an inhale, you're going to lift the right leg up for your standing split. You could keep your hands on your blocks. Or you could just take the blocks away, bring your fingertips in line with the toes. Take one or both hands to the back of the left leg for balance. Hold and breathe here. On your next inhale, look up. Exhale, step back. Downward facing dog. Option to stay here. You can come into child's pose or go through the vinyasa one time on your own. Link breath and movement. This quote of Martin Luther King keeps coming to mind. He says, "Hatred is too great of a burden to bear." I'm paraphrasing. Hate is too, anger and hate is too much of a burden to bear. He said, "I'll stick with love. I'll go with love." Right? He's talking about his actions, right? So I'm going to remember Martin Luther King right now. I'm going to stick with love. If you're in child's pose, come back to downward facing dog. From here, we're going to walk the feet towards the front of the mat. You're going to separate your feet about hip distance apart. We're going to grab hold of the big toes, the first 2 fingers of either hand. On an inhale, look up, pull on the big toes. Exhale, continue to pull on the big toes. And try to bring yourself forward with balance in the feet. If you need to bend the knees a little bit or a lot, that's a good idea to achieve that balance. If you want to shake the head out here, yes or no, this is a good place to let go of some more stress. Remember, forward bending is about letting go of the past. So, gonna let go of all that news that I watched last night. On your next inhale, you're going to look up. And exhale, take a soft bend in your knees. Inhale, come all the way up. And then we're going to step or jump to get our feet together. And I'm just going to come to the center of the mat for Nataraj Asana, dancing Shiva. Just remember, Shiva is the destroyer. He's the one that removes things so that something else can take its place. So maybe Shiva's here now to remove some of the darkness so that light can come in its place, right? Fortunate or unfortunate, let's wait and see. Start with bent knees for balance. Look for your gaze, place something eye level, not moving. You're going to bend your right knee and grab hold of the right ankle. You're going to lift the left arm up. Inhale, bring the right knee as high as you can. Exhale, begin to pull the right ankle away as you tip forward. Try to reach out in all directions. Breathing here. Next inhale, come up, knees together. Release the foot to the floor. Another way to think about Shiva is he's here to remove our ignorance, our avidya, so that truth and knowledge can come in its place. So think of something you might feel ignorant about right now that you're not seeing clearly, fully, through the lens of love or compassion. And then offer this next side up. So bend your knees, look for your gaze place. Take hold of the left ankle. On inhale, you're going to lift the right arm up. Lift the left knee as high as you can. And then begin to pull the left ankle away as you tip forward. Try to reach out in all directions. Think of this dance of Shiva. Right? It's a joyful dance. It's one of removal. It's one of creating new places for light and wisdom to come in. For strength to come in. On your next inhale, come upright. Release your foot to the floor. Give everything a little shake out here. Come and stand at the front of the mat. Bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Gaze at your fingertips. Bring your gaze here. Close the eyes. You know, I have a lot of fear I experience in what's going on in the world right now, and I have to just always bring that fear back to yoga, right? It's okay to feel sensitive. It's okay to feel some instability. As long as I sit with it in a place of strength, right? All right, from here on an inhale, you're going to bend your knees deeply, lift the prayer up, Utkatasana. Exhale, diving forward, place your hands down. Inhale, come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, step or jump back, slowly lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Keeping your left heel turned up. Step your right foot forward into lunge. Today we're going to drop the left knee to the floor, moving both hands onto the right knee. We're going to come and do a standing spinal twist from a supportive variation. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale as you twist to the right side. See if you can push the thigh in to better accommodate elbow to knee. Okay, and you can stay here with the back knee on the floor, straighten the bottom leg. If you'd like to try to come into a full bind, this is a nice place to practice from. You can find that bind underneath you. Drop the right arm behind, thread the left arm underneath. If you want to bring your left hand to the outside of the Right foot to the floor, that's another good variation. And then wherever you end up, hold and breathe there. So good for the body to twist and to move and to bring oxygen into places that don't always get it. When you're ready from here, you're going to come out of the twist. You're going to step back to downward facing dog. And we'll try the other side. Inhale, left foot forward. Release your right knee down. Bring both hands onto the left knee. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, twist to the left side. Elbow to knee, hands to prayer. Again, you could stay here if you want to try your full bind. You can go for that. If you want to bring your right hand to the outside, the left foot to the floor, even on a block, you can do that. And then finally, if you want to tuck the back toes under and straighten the back leg, come into your variation, look for a steady gaze and equal breath. When you're ready, place your hands down, step back. Downward facing dog, option to stay here, come directly into child's pose, or go through the vinyasa on your own. And then let's come into child's pose, everyone. One of the things Sharon says a lot, she says, through repetition, magic rises up. Right? So showing up for your practice continually, not getting bored, not feeling like you have to reinvent yoga. Right? You see that a lot out there. Just try to do what people have been doing for thousands of years. Like we're going to do headstand next. Just work on your headstand every day. You don't have to do some incredibly fancy circus variation, right? Just do the headstand. Show up for that, and then through repetition of showing up for the same pose over and over again, you learn something new about yourself, about the pose, about the world itself. Remember, we're turning our worlds upside down in this pose. It's a very powerful thing to do in a safe place. So then out there in the world, when things get turned upside down, we have a practice of steadiness and joy when our worlds are upside down. So I encourage you to try the half pose. You're going to interlace your fingers. You're going to bring your elbows a little bit closer than shoulder distance apart. I find that when I come up, if I lose balance, I will not roll forward. That's kind of scary. My elbow's a little bit closer than shoulder distance. I always come back the way I got up. Top of the head on the floor behind your hands. You're going to tuck the toes under and straighten the legs. You're going to begin to walk the feet in as close as you can. Eventually, hips will become above the shoulders where you will find stability equally, about 20% in the head, a little bit less in the forearms. From here, I want everyone to lift their head off the floor an inch so you feel 100% of the weight in the arms. See if you can lower the head that last 20%. Keep pressing down. Stay here, half pose. Beautiful, difficult pose. Learn something new about yourself here. You want to take it a step further, bend one knee into your chest. You could practice here. Keep pressing forearms and elbows down. If you can lift up without hopping, bring both knees up. Practice this egg shape. If you're ready to come all the way up, come all the way up. If at any point you need to come into child's pose, please do that. But again, think of it as an opportunity to set your life aside and focus on yoga. Fortunate or unfortunate, let's wait and see.
Let's inhale a breath here. If you're still up, exhale, slowly lower down as quietly as you can. We're going to come into child's pose and just relax and let go here. Just take a moment, reset, refocus. Remember who you dedicated your class to. And then think of those words, I can't breathe. And then remind yourself, what a gift that I can breathe right now. I can breathe. One of the interesting things I saw in the news last night, they're saying, once this powder keg moment is passed, that's when they really need people to be advocates. They need people to really step up and educate others about this powerful moment we find ourselves in. Don't let the moment slip away. Keep on. I have some friends of mine who are pretty involved in some of these movements like Black Lives Matter. I'm going to reach out to them and ask what else I could do to help support awareness of this very needed consciousness. Right? Remember, being an ally, being a supporter, being someone who can be of service. Right? Karma yoga. All right, let's come to sit down. Let's swing the legs forward. When I was new to Jivamukti, when you come to a forward seated bend, you're going to come out of the front of the sit bones. You're going to press the legs down completely. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, walk the hands forward. Take hold of big toes or whatever else you'd like to hold to here. Another forward bend, opportunity to let go of the past. I was learning about ahimsa when I was a new student. Sharon had organized this event at Jivamukti. And Ingrid Newkirk, the founder of PETA, was there to speak. And they showed us this film about, cruelty to the animals and farm factories and science labs, all the things that you see in those films. It was so emotional and really hit me hard, and I felt really sad and overwhelmed. And I looked over to Sharon after it was over, and she was happy, she was smiling, she was talking to people, very animated, full of energy, full of life. And I went to her and I said, Sharon, a few more breaths here. I said, that was so devastating, that film. How can you be so okay with what you just saw and that you are so happy and joyful in this moment where I'm just totally destroyed? She says, well, I'm happy and joyful because, on inhale, come up. She goes, I have a voice for the voiceless. The animals don't have a voice here to speak up for what's going on, and I do. And she said, that makes me very happy, and that's why I am. I'm a champion of them. I will always be a champion of them, and I will be a voice for them. And I take that on, and I will do it happily and joyfully. I was like, whoa. I want to be like Sharon. Bend your knees in, release the knees out to the side. It was kind of like that farmer stance of karma, right? Like, fortunate or unfortunate. Let's wait and see. Let's be proactive. Let's be in the moment. Let's be steady. Let's be joyful. Let's be full of wisdom of yoga. Bound cobbler's pose. You're going to bring the heels in close. You're going to take hold of the feet. Inhale, open the feet up. Look up. Exhale, begin to fold forward. Hold and breathe here. Next inhale, come up. From here, you're going to move the feet forward about 6 inches, creating a diamond shape in the legs for Tarasana. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, folding forward here, creating the points of the star. Next inhale, come up. One of the things that Sharon suggested in the beginning of this pandemic was to limit the time that we spent on social media and on watching the news, right? Create balance. Create space for your yoga practices. Don't consume too much of that. It's going to really not be good. So I think that applies to right now as well. Make time for yoga practices. Don't get stuck just watching all the images on television or on the media. Okay, so at tabletop next, you're going to bend your knees, feet are hip distance apart and parallel. Hands on the floor behind you. On inhale, lift the hips up. You can keep the gaze forward or drop the gaze behind you. And we're going to do breath of fire. It's a little snipping breath like a little rabbit's nose moving in and out. Not to be confused with Kapalabhati. And then let's go. And then finish that up. Come back to your normal Ujjayi breathing. One more breath, breathing in. And then exhale, release down. Remember the pranayama practices are meant to bring awareness to prana, to energy in the body, and to heighten it, to extend it. From here, we're going to find ourselves back into chaturanga. So you can inhale, step walk or jump back, slowly lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale back. Downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Shake the head out. Flubber the lips. And I just keep remembering all of the beautiful faces of the people that have lost their lives unfairly in the post yesterday. It was really powerful to see them all together. Such a large group. So unfortunate. But as the farmer says, you know, maybe there's something that we're going to learn from their deaths. Maybe it's going to bring us finally to a place of coming to a knee, all of us, right? Placing one knee down. Silent protest. Your next inhale, roll forward to plank position. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the floor, seat is high. On the inhale, push through to a baby cobra and we'll hold here. Fingertips in line with the lower ribs. Press the tops of the feet down so much the kneecaps lift off the floor. And then optional, lift your hands off the floor an inch. Hold and breathe here. Inhale for 5, a little bit higher. Exhale, release down, turn your face to one side. Remember that back bending is all about letting go of the future. Any fear, any anxiety, allowing us to be in the moment, allowing us to open our hearts completely, right, in a vulnerable way. But again, we can handle vulnerability, we can handle the sadness that's going on in the world right now because we are established in yoga. Steadiness, joyfulness. Forehead down, Shalabhasana next. This is with straight legs. On inhale, lift your head, chest, straight legs off the floor. Come up. And exhale, release down. Now we're going to come into Dhanurasana next. Bow pose. You're going to bend your knees, pull the outside of either ankle. On inhale, lift your head, chest, knees off the floor. Come up. Second time, Dhanurasana, forehead down, bend your knees, take hold of the outside of either ankle. On the inhale, come up. Releasing down. Taking a few breaths here, turn the face to one side, gently rock hips from side to side. When you're ready, turn over onto your back. Here, the mind is so powerful that we could be so consumed on what's going on in the world right now that we don't do our yoga practices, right? We've all been there. I saw one of my coworkers yesterday. You know, she got let go and then she got rehired back. It's very fortunate or unfortunate situation. But she was telling me yesterday that she's gained a lot of weight, which is apparent, since the pandemic happened, you know. And I said, well, just, you know, jump onto one of the yoga classes. I put them on the internet. You could do them for free. And she goes, oh, I don't know. It's just so hard to get to the practice. So it's kind of like that idea of karma. If we just keep it going right now, we just keep showing up for a practice, it's not going to be difficult to get to. It's just a mental twist. It's just getting over the mind, taking a moment. You know, even if you lay in Shavasana for half of the practice, that's fine. But just show up in some way. Okay, so half wheel to begin. Heels close and towards your seat. Bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart and just think of who you dedicated your practice to. And I'm just thinking of the long list of names. You know, heaven forbid my car broke down somewhere and that was my death sentence just because I was not white. Oh, it's so heavy. Half wheel on your own. Full wheel. Or we're actually all going to come in the half wheel, sorry. On inhale, lift your lower, middle, upper back off the floor. And release your hands underneath you. Position yourself a little higher up on your shoulders. Keep lifting the hips up. If you want to use a block here, slide the block underneath the sacrum. Exhale, release down. Bring your hands to prayer in front of the heart again. Yeah, remember who you dedicated your practice to. Mr. Floyd. Think of the people that did nothing wrong, did not deserve the action taken against them. Half wheel on your own. Full wheel, hands alongside the ears, underneath the shoulders. Push up, come to the top of the head or come all the way up. Hold for 5 breaths. After 5 breaths, come down. One of the reasons I posted the postings on social media yesterday is I wanted to invite other people into the conversation that maybe are afraid to have the conversation. Other people who are of privilege. Just to consider for a moment that we could have this open dialogue, that we can be allies, that we could support our friends and our family and our community. Half wheel on your own, hands to prayer right between the eyebrows. Again, offer up your action. Be an instrument of peace, be an instrument of thy will.
Half wheel on your own, full wheel, come up, 5 breaths on your own. Hands to prayer, in front of the heart. Final wheel. Okay, remember that the back bending is all about opening the heart and removing any fear or anxiety about the future. Instead, establishing this moment, finding your courage here now to have the difficult conversations, to talk about things that you could make your cause as well. Not just leave it to others because it's their problem. Make it our problem. Half wheel on your own. Full wheel, hands alongside the ears, underneath the shoulders, 5 to 8 of your own breaths. When you're ready, come up. Once you've completed your final wheel, come down. Draw your knees into your chest. Gonna rock a little bit from side to side. Take a little twist from here. Bring your knees over to the left side as you bring your gaze over to the right side. Breathe in, let. Exhale, go. Inhale, come center. Exhale, releasing over to the right side. And then looking over the opposite shoulder. Let. Exhale, go. Come center again. From here, we're gonna come up to a seated position. You can rock the length of it a few times to get there. Excuse me. We're gonna set up for our shoulder stand practice. If you just want to bring your seat up the side of a wall or under the sofa, you can do that. We're gonna come through Halasana. You're gonna bring your hands firmly on your back, and you're gonna lift the legs up. Again, it's another inversion. It's a little more advanced. People tend to shy away from the inversions. But just show up for it. Do your best. Remember how magic rises up through repetition. Keep on showing up and do the difficult job. Keep showing up and move through that difficult day. Look for steadiness. Look for consciousness. Look for breath. Remember the farmer and how he took life so freely. He didn't invest in either the good or bad situation. He just kept saying, fortunate or unfortunate, so let's wait and see. Inhale a breath here. Exhale, lower the feet overhead. Come towards Halasana.
If your feet don't reach the floor, just keep your hands on your back, knees towards your forehead. If your feet do reach the floor, interlace your hands. Draw your arms long in one direction as you push the heels in the opposite direction. Release your hands, keep your head on the floor, arms pressing down, gently roll all the way onto your back. Today we're going to finish in reclining goddess pose as a counter pose to our shoulder stand. So keep the knees bent, feet are together on the floor, allow your knees to fall to either side of the mat. You can rub your hands together, create a little heat. Place your hands on your chest and just breathe into that place where the heart resides. Anahata chakra. Remember, hatred's too big of a burden to bear, said Dr. King. I'm going to go with love. And then take that other hand, one hand off of the heart and bring it to the throat. Just think of the words that you speak. Can they be words of unity, ones of bringing people closer in and together? Or are they ones to separate and to create a place of one up and one down? Take a hand to the forehead now. Think of that Agni chakra, that third eye center, place of wisdom, place to make that connection from the heart, where you can then inform your thoughts, which are going to inform your actions. So again, think lovely thoughts, think love and compassion for your enemies. Think love and compassion for those that you don't agree with. Try to see them as holy beings. And then finally, bring both hands onto the crown of the head. Sahasrara chakra, the 1,000-petal lotus. So this is the promise of yoga. Through the practices of yoga, we will experience a transformation. We will arrive at a place of equanimity of mind. Whatever situation we find before us, we will be able to hold steady. We will be able to hold joyful because we are equipped with the knowledge of yoga. And then bringing your hands to your knees, gently bring your knees together. Now we're going to come and lie down for Shavasana. So just take a moment here, create a place where you could be free, where you can let go. Spread out completely, palms turned up, gesture of letting go, of surrender. And then just experience, witness the results of the practice. Probably aware of your better biceps now, but go a little bit deeper than just the physical body. What are you feeling inside? What can you witness of that self that resides in you? I invite you to take a little bit longer of a Shavasana. You could just remain lying down if you'd like. If you're ready to come sit up, slowly find your way to a comfortable upright seated position. And we're going to finish by chanting Om and Shanti. What do you know? I feel so much better now than when I woke up. I feel like I'm able to handle the day now. I'm equipped now with my spiritual tools.
Bring our hands to prayer in front of our hearts. We give thanks to all of our teachers, especially the inner guiding teacher, the Sadguru. Bowing forward, Om Bolo, Sadguru, Bhagavan Ki, Jai. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you, everyone. So happy to be here with you. Homework, 20 minutes meditation. Don't think about it. Just do it. Make it a healthy habit. Set up a place where you can sit quietly, that you feel happy to be there. I've created this little altar for this teaching online, and I've got pictures of my teachers. I got some representations of what the highest is for me. Gives me some options to think of what my potential is, and it helps me then get a little bit deeper into my meditation. Candles always help as well. Some announcements. A week from today will be our last Twitch class, if you can believe that. And we're going to move over to Zoom the week of the 8th. So we will be giving instruction on that from Nandi. Wendy and Andrew will be telling us how we're going to transition over to that. Should be pretty seamless. As long as you get your Zoom account set up, it's pretty easy to do. If you have any questions or need some help with that, you can reach out to Nandi or you can reach out to me. I am getting on a call after this with Erica. We have started a book study where we are studying Autobiography of a Yogi, and we're also studying the Jivamukti Yoga book. So if any of you feel like you want to start something like that or jump on the call with us, that's always an option. Also, social media, check me out on Facebook, on Instagram, YouTube channel. Got about 14 classes posted there now. Just going to keep this thing going a day at a time. We're going to keep showing up for each other, keeping our community strong. I think that's all the announcements I have. Have a great day, everyone. Stay strong, keep balanced, do your yoga. Namaste.
Four, breathing, 3, 2, and when you're done, child pose or other. Breathing in, breathing out, appreciating, receiving, and letting go at the same time. A few more breaths, breathe in. Breathe out. Last breath. Downward facing dog. If you like to cycle into a chaturanga, inhale to plank, knees, chest and chin or chaturanga. Up dog or low cobra. Downward facing dog. Inhale in down dog. Exhale all the air out, come up high on your toes, walk, step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, offer the heart. Exhale, deepening your fall. Feet as wide as the hips. It can be a little wider or closer, up to you. Either you're holding your elbows, releasing your neck, or crossing your hands behind you, lifting your arms up and over. Keep the knees bent even more. Inhale, easy sway to the right. Exhale, back to neutral. Inhale, easy sway to the left, twist to the left. Exhale, back to neutral. One more, moving with the breath. Inhale, twist to the right. Sway to the right. Exhale, back to neutral. Inhale, sway to the left, twist to the left. Exhale, back to neutral. Hands to hips, tuck the chin, keep the knees bent. Inhale, come up to standing, one vertebra at a time. Exhale, hands down, palm facing forward, or the prayer to
3 breaths in here, breathing in. Breathing out. Treat this like any other pose.